Hey guys, just letting you know that there was a little bit of a technical hiccup. Once again, I can't believe it's always the 2K podcast.
This guy.
Streamlabs, Streamlabs decided to crash while we were recording the VOD. So the first 10 minutes, I believe, is just going to be pretty much cover art and some footage. We'll put some footage in as well. But then the rest of it, you can see our sexy faces throughout the podcast. So hope you enjoy tonight's episode of Dash Culture. And you bump the mic. Hey guys, and welcome to the WWE 2K20 special of Dash Culture. I'm one of your hosts, Dash, along with my co-host, Mr. Ryan Betson.
What's up?
What's up? What's going on, dude?
Not much, man. Here to talk about wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah. So for anybody out there who doesn't know, WWE 2K20 was released last week, and thanks to the guys over at 2K, myself and Betson got our hands on it. Betson actually was able to purchase the special edition copy. Get it more in front of your face, Betson. Get it more in front. There we go. What is it? The limited edition?
So it's the WWE 2K20 Smackdown 20th Anniversary Edition. Came in a box. Came with some ring mat, which is all squiff in the picture, which is really annoying.
Squiff.
So that's... Thanks. But I got a signed picture of my boy, Kurt Angle.
Oh, oh God.
Thumbs up for Kurt Angle.
Yeah, we're probably going to use that. We're probably going to be using that rating scale later on. From the Young and the Wrestlers. So we're going to be talking about WWE 2K20 today and our thoughts on it. Guys, if you didn't know, this is Dash Culture, our bi-weekly pop culture conversational podcast where the worlds of Dash and Betson collide tonight. We'll be taking you through WWE 2K20. Once again, thanks to the kind folk over at 2K for providing us our review copies. If you like that, make sure that you follow us over on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. You can give us those cheeky 5-star ratings. Also, a shout out to the Young and the Wrestlers over at Pop Culturist. So make sure that you guys check out the Pop Culturist over on iTunes.
One thing you should do as well in regards to 2K20 is if you head over to wellplayed.com.au, Zach and the team were nice enough to send myself and Jem over to have a chat with WWE superstar Kofi Kingston. It's about a 10-minute interview. We had a good chat. It was awesome. He gave me the best possible shout out I ever could have had.
Yeah, that was really cool of him.
At the end, you'll watch me kind of go... Because I spent the whole morning just like crippling fucking anxious, man. I was like, good.
I saw that.
And then I had the interview and it went fantastic. Nice. We had a great time. He's such a cool dude. Yep. We also saw the Iconics and Bailey when we were there as well.
Very cool.
And then once I left, I was like, just absolutely genuinely awesome person.
Oh well, before we jump into the game, how was it to actually sit down and actually interview somebody like Kofi Kingston? Like we've heard a lot of reports. Like he's one of the most genuinely most approachable wrestlers right now. And like, how was it that experience to actually interview a WWE wrestler for Well Played and for the Pop Cultures?
Well, I'm a massive wrestling dork, so for me it was huge. Yeah, like it was amazing. Like I've interviewed many people in my time, but that may be one of the most nerve-wracking experiences I've had. Yeah. Saying that though, we met the PR team. We met the guys from 2K. So Mikey, who we know quite well. Yeah. We've worked together on and off for a while. So it was cool to see some familiar faces, which kind of made me go, and then Kofi walked up and he's like, hey man, oh my god, I love your shirt, because I'm wearing the Young and the Wrestler shirt. I'm like, bam, ice breakout, we're done, we're good. And then it was real good. So sitting down with him though was incredibly nerve-wracking. Before and after, it was just very casual conversation. It was very chill. Talked about my kid, talked about his kids.
Oh, very cool.
It was very, very cool. It was an experience I won't be forgetting anytime soon. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Good on you guys. That was awesome. I can't wait to actually watch it. It's going up live actually right now as we speak, isn't it?
As we're doing this, it is live.
Awesome. Oh, fantastic.
Let me double check. Well, I'll keep chatting.
Yeah, no problem. It'll definitely be an interesting watch and listen. I'm definitely keen to see. I've been definitely keen to see it since you've been telling us about it nonstop since last week.
Well, since I did, I'm like, hey everyone, look what I got to do. It's those weird kind of brags, but also I'm just super proud.
Yeah. I'm proud of you. Very good. Yeah, no, good on you, man.
So hopefully it can line up some more things in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I want to tell you before we do begin this and before we go in this, I want to tell you how proud I am actually of you to actually produce a brand new wrestling podcast within the last year, and how high you've come from that. Like you've interviewed WWE superstars now, attending events and everything. You are now a fully fledged wrestling fan from when we first had you on. The second time we had you on Dash Culture as a guest, and you came and talked to us about the Royal Rumble, and you were kind of still fresh there.
Because I just recently hit my 1 year WrestleVersary. Like it's 1 year ago to like a week or so ago that I really sort of dived in heavy. So it was just on Super Showdown this time last year. So.
Nah, good on you, man. Congratulations on all your successes that you've had with Young and the Wrestlers, to you and Jem. It's been fantastic, and it's been fun to actually be a part of it as well, creatively being able to input some of the the dirt sheets that some of it, half of it, I'll admit, breaking kayfabe here has been made up, but some of it, to be honest, some of it's been true. Like it's been made up, but then has come to fruition that it's actually happened. So it's been weird.
And that's the best part about the show that we make, because we stick to the kayfabe, because we play within those defined rules. Whenever you send us something, if you pulled it out of your butthole, we're like, oh my god, did you hear that CM Punk is going back to NXT?
Yeah.
Like holy shit! Like we just kind of run with it as if it's legit, because that's part of the fun.
It is definitely. Well, what was the last one? The latest one that came real was last week when we reported at Finn Balor did his heel turn. I said that Prince Devitt, and all of a sudden on backstage, the Prince is back. And I'm just like, oh god, another one. Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for letting me be a part of that. It's been really good.
No worries, man. Wouldn't have it another way.
Awesome. Now, we are here today to actually talk about WWE 2K20. This is where we kind of, I don't even know how to get into this. So let's start off with... Betson, how you did a stream last Tuesday, and as soon as you started the stream, I actually received my code for the game.
Yeah, I got it while I was in the stream. It was awesome.
Yeah, we both did. So give me your quick first impressions from that stream of starting the game. Look, actually, can we wind back even further than that? Give us a second before we go to that.
Yeah, that's right. Can we put some context around the situation of this game? It's probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah. So I messaged you. We have a group chat for context. We have a group chat for when we prepare Dash Culture, the four-man show. And I sent you a tweet from the 2K Australia Twitter account that had Stone Cold Steve Austin entrance, and it was hitchy and glitchy as fuck. The frame rate on it was kind of poor, and we were kind of sitting there. I was kind of sitting there watching and going, it might be the PC entrance, so it might actually be like that because it might be an early build. So don't be too pessimistic.
Yeah, it's like how old is this? And then we see some people that are coming through looking a little bit jank, because there was that clear jitter. It's like, and then Stone Cold moves, but it's like, this can't be the final.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. And I sent it to you, sent it your way. I sent it everybody's way. I sent it to Padge. Doesn't give a shit. Like Padge is in the chat, but he's like, I don't care about wrestling. But Buddy and myself and yourself had a look at this entrance, and we were like, oh, that's rough. And yeah, it like that was our first genuine reaction to actually seeing like a first entrance from the game, and we were just like, oh, that's rough. But hopefully that gets polished. I mean, it's early build, early days. We're still like a few months away from it. And then as it progressed further and further and more teasers came out, we were like, why does the game look like this? Why does it look worse than 2K19? And why is it running like this? And then we get into last week when you started your stream. So give me your first impressions of experiencing the game on stream.
My first experience was, the menus are nice. I like the menus. The menus are cool. We're much more simpler, a bit straightforward. No buggering ass around.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's jump into some matches.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, the entrances are passable.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So you get into the game, and then it's like when the match kicks in, it's like, oh.
Yeah, the menu.
So then we kept he just started doing it, kept getting caught in the ropes. Anytime he tried to do like some sort of run the ropes a little bit, so and it just yanks you back.
Yeah.
Just some really weird crap started happening. Everyone looked kind of janky. Hits just would not land. So like, all right, well let's try something else. Let's try something else. Let's try the career mode. So I made myself a buffer version of myself.
Yeah.
And then we made Jem. We made a buffer version of Jem. Same height because she's tiny. And we started playing the campaign, and it.
Ooh. Yeah.
And then, like, we're in one of the scenes, we're standing in an apartment. Gem's standing there, and her hair is moving like there's a gale storm. She's in an apartment.
Is this career mode? Yeah.
Career mode, yeah.
Yeah. There has been quite a few technical glitches in terms of actually making female characters in the game, and like the hair is out of this world.
Hair physics have always been iffy in the WWE 2K games. Like even if you go back to 19 and 18 or whatever, it is certainly a little bit rough, but it's a whole new level of rough here.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there was no level of polish added to what was essentially a lot of physics lifted from last year's game. I mean, it's obvious, and we'll get into the whole developers thing in a second as well, of why it's like this as well. But it's almost there was effort. I won't say that there was no effort put into this. There was effort put in, but it feels like you've got Coca-Cola and you've got home brand Coles Cola, you know? Yeah. This is developed by Coles, essentially what's happened. This is the black and gold brand.
But really, what has happened is there was a 2K of like, cool, we've just ordered this yearly shipment of Coke, Coca-Cola. It's coming in, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean you're not giving us Coke anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
So what, the event's in like 8 months. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Fuck. All right. Can someone call Coles?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's happened. So this, like, we'll get into the nitty gritty like stuff in a minute, but this is a perfect example of how annualization can properly fuck a game up.
Yeah.
Because if anything happens sort of early on, or anything that breaks that chain, it just demonstrably destroys what was going on here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this game could have really benefited from just not coming out at all.
Yes.
Like, there is precedence. EA have done it before with the NBA game, so 2K could have done it here. Because I think by doing so, they've done a disservice to some of the things they're trying to do in this game. But we'll get into that once we discuss what's going on.
Yeah. Look, like you said, this game would have benefited from not actually being released as soon as they did. They could have actually delayed it until like May next year and still could have named it WWE 2K20.
Yeah, put around Mania.
Yeah, exactly. It should have been given a little bit more time. Obviously, all studios and all like developers and publishers have a target that is supposed to be met by whoever's higher than that. Like, Take-Two owns 2K, and they have to report, and whoever from 2K has to report to Take-Two. And then Take-Two has to say, where's the WWE game? And then afterwards, they get this certain amount of time. They get a bracket, and they're like, okay, you have to release it at this date, or else we start losing money. And that's essentially what the go is that if they don't release it at a certain date, they lose money. And that's also why when we see games like The Last of Us get announced and a release date for it, they give them time. So what it is they go to Sony because it's first party, and they say, we're going to say February now, but there's a good chance that it won't be February. Okay, we're going to give you till June. And then they go, okay, we can get it done by May. So that's essentially what the go is. But with 2K20 and a lot of these annualized sports games, they get that bracket, and it's like September is your due date. If you don't have a goal by September, we're going to lose money. So you need it there, or you're fired. Yeah. So that's corporate side of things as well. But that's the way obviously business works. Let's not lie. That there is a big business behind gaming and the way it gets released and making money. It's game's
business for a reason.
That's the way it is. But it really has shown through what they've actually produced and bought us this year. That it's not rushed at all, but what it is they've had 8 months, and 8 months is still not enough time in development, because a lot of WWE 2K games get developed from the day the last game goes gold. So when 2K19 was going to go gold, Ukes would have been already in development for this game. They would have been like,
correct.
Okay, day one, game's gold, let's go 2K20 tomorrow.
Like, I think they might get like a month, not even, just to like have some time off, and then they'll go back into being hard again.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like any of the other annualized game, like FIFA as an example, FIFA works on a 9-month development window. So they get a couple of months off, bit of pre, and then straight into it.
Yeah. It's well, look at Assassin's Creed, man. look, they had to listen to their fans, and they took some time off before they came back and reinvented the wheel, per se, with, brand new Assassin's Creed releases, and a lot of people were happier for it. I mean, then again, there were a few technical glitches from the game, but the game is polished again, and it feels polished. Whereas WWE has had a stagnant release every year for the last 20 years, man. Like, I put it this way, it was fresh when they did Smackdown 1 and 2. Number 3, they knew they hit a wall, but because it was the first one on PlayStation 2, which was Just Bring It. And while it presented on a grander scale new stuff, like actual entrances from an entrance ramp down to the ring and everything, the gameplay was still the same. Absolutely the same. They upped the res a little bit. They kind of refined the models a bit more, but it still looked like a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
And that's when they needed that. They did a good job. So Ukes did a fantastic job in between Smackdown Just Bring It to Shut Your Mouth and updated the whole game. However, the gameplay still remained the same. But it looked completely new, dude. The models were refreshed and it felt like a brand new experience. However, jumping to Here Comes the Pain, the whole engine was redeveloped and it felt tremendous. And this is the game that everybody talks about in the series, is Smackdown Here Comes the Pain. And they keep harping back to it because, one, it was more of an arcade experience, and it wasn't too much of the technical side of wrestling. You could jump in with your friends, you can give your friend a controller who's never watched a wrestling program in their life, and all they had to do was mash the buttons. Whereas the WWE 2K20, the 2K series at the moment, feels that way. It's still that stagnant engine right now where it's slow, it's methodical, it's cumbersome. You got to know how to kind of maneuver your character. You got to know your character from the TV show, or else you're fucked, basically. Some of the like, if I went to a random who wanted to play a 2K game and said, if you hit AJ Styles Pele kick and and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? All I want to do is get in there and smash a couple people and do a few holds and grapples and throw them around the ring. And it's like, oh, that's how you attract the casual market. And that's how also the boom happened as well for like the Attitude Era. A lot of people were gaming these old SmackDown games and they were like, man, I love these characters. They're actually on TV. I want to check them out. So there are multiple things that are there. And I believe that right now 2K20 kind of has a bad rap right now that also projects itself into what currently WWE offers themselves. However, WWE themselves have kind of shat all over the game too. So yeah. So it's definitely one thing. Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's Yeah. The difficulty here is, as I said, like, part of me understands the predicament the visual concepts were put into.
Right.
And that gives me some leniency on how this game is. Now, I understand that many people that will be playing this or would have picked up this game wouldn't know these back-end stuff. It's just because of the nature of what we do and what we know, that we're willing to sort of make those moments of like, oh, okay, well, we can understand that. Like the average person, when we see on Twitter just yelling at 2K, and it's like, well, yes, you're correct. However, there's more to this. Like, isn't just a backward step because like there's factors in here that got in the way.
Definitely. And that's all on the business side as well. Ukes had actually left development like a quarter of the way through, and they turned around and said, you know what, we're going to leave. This isn't working for us. And they wanted more freedom. They wanted more creative freedom with developing the game, but they weren't allowed.
Yeah, so the issue that Ukes were having, as you sort of implied there, was every year stagnant. They're doing their roster updates, adding a new show. Like, what their movement to do something cool and creative was lost. So because for some reason, talk about business, for some reason, 2K allowed the development team to have a proprietary engine that they owned. So 2K had owned, or 2K or Take-Two, whoever, did not own anything aside of this WWE game aside from publishing rights.
Correct.
Horrible business decision. Because that's what happened. Ukes went, nah, and they left. So they lost everything that they had. So they were forced to make these changes. Yeah. And so the background of this is, so 2K came in around WWE 14. Yeah. The idea is save them from after THQ went under. Yep. And as Dash explained to me, it was a cash deal. It was like, cool, we'll publish it. Here's money. It's now put out. Now Schmack 2K on it.
Yeah, that's right.
If it was me, I would have been like, we're going to own that engine. Yeah. And they go, nah. I'm like, all right, let your game bury. Sorry.
Yeah.
But like, this is the thing, because the forward planning on this is abhorrent. Like, if I can't understand why that would let that happen. Like, it's almost as if this was going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Like this, why couldn't have this been foreseen?
Well, here's the problem too. We've seen plenty of polished gameplay from other series in the 2K lineup.
But if you go back to last year, 2K19 was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So like I played because with my day job I work in youth services, and one of the big things I use games as therapy is an easy way to explain it. So we and a lot of our guys are big wrestling fans. So we use 2K19 a lot, where we just have custom characters, and we we'll have Ronald McDonald fight SpongeBob and shit just because it's funny. But like when you bring in the legit superstars, it's like fuck. Like Robert Roode looks awesome. Yeah, I mean, like these like the models are brilliant. The gameplay is tight, especially now when you compare it to what we're looking at here. Yeah,
no, 100%. And like I was going to bring up, like we see a lot of other games that come out of 2K, like NBA 2K20, WWE, like FIFA as well. It's just
FIFA's EA, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. There is oh god.
But even just comparing it to NBA 2K20, that game looks immaculate.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there is so much money funneled into that game. Now, I'm not sure who the development side of NBA is, because I just don't care, because it's NBA.
Yeah.
But like, how can they deliver such an awesome product? And because once again, from a consumer perspective, they just see NBA 2K20. Like, okay, cool. I presume same people that did WWE 2K20. Why does that look and run so bad?
It's just like I was going to say, that there's so much polish behind those other games that were presented. I mean, Idris Elba looks incredible on this year's 2K20. It's just, it baffles me how they can turn around and look. You just said like, why don't we pick up the engine from Ukes? I honestly think they don't want to for a specific reason. The reason is that the engine itself looks terrible. Like, it just does not have that same...
This is a fail-safe for the situation that we're in.
Yeah, of course.
You know, once again, if they own the engine, they're like, well, we're going to pay you to build a new one.
Well, technically speaking, even if they did own that engine, right, what would stop them? Like, what's the development team's name again?
Which one? Visual Concepts?
Visual Concepts, that's it. They are owned by 2K. Yeah. They are a 2K studio, right? It's essentially the same kind of thing, where they would have bought the engine, given it to the studio, and they would have had to develop the game. We still would have received something like this earlier on. Even if you decided to, like...
I'd say potentially, but they can at least reuse assets from last year. Here, they had to start from pretty much scratch.
No. They reused the assets from last year. Look at Bianca Belair's entrance, man. That's perfect. Yeah, exactly. That's perfect... like, they lifted that entrance from last year, put it into the game, had to redo all the physics in her entrance, and instead of her hair actually looking like natural hair, it came out looking like a freaking snake on her head.
Saying that, though, compliments where compliments are due.
Correct.
For some reason, Jerry Lawler looks fantastic.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know why.
Why?
Yeah.
Becky, the cover artist, looks like the person on the cover. Looks
the
like
cover girl.
Shit.
Yes, yeah.
But Jerry the King Lawler, some incoherent rambling old man on the Raw commentary team, gets a high-end...
Yeah, it's just weird. It looks so much like him. Like, they did an incredible job at actually making his model... Oh my god, I'm about to pull it up. Yeah, it's... I'm not too sure. Like, even then it kind of looks a bit smushed, but... Yeah, it does look really good. His teeth look fake. But yeah, it looks really good. But you're right. However, freaking Becky Lynch, of all people, who's the cover girl on
the
on
most
this game.
over wrestler in a couple of years, like minimum. Like Becky Lynch is absolutely huge, and they're like, "Well, Roman looks pretty good." Oh crap! We spent all our time on Lawler. Hey Becky, and then just kind of threw like shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And then made her face. And like even then, like they're doing the showcase the 4 Horsewomen storyline, right? Which is like on paper.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
The women's, as I said in FTP, for the players, and I've said in Young and the Wrestlers, the 4 Horsewomen storyline, the women's revolution in general, is one of the best things coming out of WWE in a very long time. Saying that though, the way it's been handled here is disgusting. Like,
100%.
This is a real big moment to showcase the women in this. Like, they showcase especially the most impressive and strongest women in that division. They all look like trash. The showcase mode kind of sucks. It's just.
Yeah, it's baffling. It really is baffling. I can't comprehend how, like, WWE 2K series has always been one of those games that I always, like, myself, my best friend from high school, we still talk, and it was one of those games that we'd always share a common bond with, and always talk about how either we're excited for it or whether we're not going to get it that year. And every year I say the same thing, I'm not going to get it. And he's like, you're going to get it. You know you're going to get it. And I end up getting it. Why? Because I still love the fuck out of him. And it was just like a couple of weeks ago, I spoke to him and he goes, you know what? This is the first year that I regret buying it. I'm like, well, there it is. So it's saddening a little bit that we're talking about it. Now, let's talk about the kind of the bomb that dropped on us today, which was it was today, I think it was the 2K showcase, the 2K originals, I should say, that got dropped today. How was your experience going through? Because I know you're playing part of it. I played the whole thing. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so the WWE 2K originals are one of the other big selling points of this year's version. So this is where you'll get the likes of Bray Wyatt's The Fiend, as well as some really interestingly ideated Elseworld sort of story, right? Which is kind of like, let's have some fun and fuck with this multiverse style thing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of this was under a pre-order bonus. It didn't come out at launch, came out a week later. Apparently, it looks like they tried to tie it with Halloween. Makes sense. Yep. Seeing as they, as you said before, they must release on this date. They're like, can we make it fit with Halloween? We'll put it a week later.
Yeah.
It looks good. And this is the best thing about it, because they're not going for ultra realism here. This first one is called Bump in the Night, and it's all about
Bump in the night.
Bump in the night. It's this big, like, hot fucking whatnot.
Oh god.
Bump in the night. It's spooky. It's like a bunch of superstars have been rebranded into sort of your movie monsters, like, Swamp Thing and like the Wolfman and Frankenstein, all that sort of stuff. And because they're not going for ultra realism here, it kind of comes off okay. Yeah. Because they don't have to look like real people. They just have to look like the real person. For me, it looked reasonably okay, comparatively.
Yeah.
But I said I've only played the Finn Balor part of it, which the whole storyline is that the Wyatt family are trying to recruit Finn Balor because they want the Demon King, which is cool. And then I started playing the Tower in order to unlock the Fiend.
Yeah. So I went through it mode by mode, and I tried the Finn Balor Tower and everything else, like the Demon King Tower and all that stuff as well. I don't like this. I just don't. I've never liked the whole supernatural aspect of them trying to bring this stuff in every year. This whole element, like, I hated the Braun Strowman entrance as well, when he's half Frankenstein. He looks just terrible. They had the Swamp Father, I think is what he called him.
Swamp Father, Bray Wyatt, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what am I playing this? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, man. These kind of modes here, while they develop a theme and everything and bring in that supernatural element into the game, for me personally, when I look at this, I think of all the shit times that WWE have tried to make me believe all that bullshit, that hokey shit on TV. And that's like what they're trying to sell. And for me personally, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of.
See, but I do think that also. I think that's how you and I consume wrestling is very different.
Yeah.
As in, I'm a sucker for the bullshit storylines and all that hokey crap.
Yeah.
Using example right now, this whole divorce situation with Lana and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking amazing.
I think it's fucking atrocious.
You think it's the worst, and I think that will represent on how we approach these Elseworlds, right?
Yeah.
So like for me, I'm like, this is a cool concept. It's interesting. It's taking what we know and putting it on its head. It's gamifying wrestling, which is fine. Like if you wanted a super serious sim, then no, this is not for you.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I think that's also
something in the middle.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's also why we're kind of like on opposite ends of the spectrum right now within wrestling. You're on WWE. Myself and Buddy are currently on AEW.
Oh, don't get me wrong. AEW, fucking amazing. Yeah. And I still love AEW with all my heart.
Yeah.
But I watch AEW for the wrestling.
Yeah.
And watch WWE for the bullshit.
Yeah, I don't watch WWE for any bullshit. I can't take it anymore because, like I said, this kind of thing, like right now on screen, I got footage up of the Fiend Bray Wyatt's kind of tower where he goes through a whole bunch of wrestlers that you have to defeat. I just can't. I look at this and I go, no, just no. This is not what I want. You know, The Undertaker never had to have this kind of shit to get him over and like all this hokey, I'm gonna drag you to hell and all that. Like that only started coming in after he rebranded himself the Dead Man again. When he was the Dead Man originally in that period before he went biker, there was that when he came in with the character, there was him and Paul Bearer, but the most you saw out of him was this Western mortician. That's what he was. That's what the Undertaker was. He was a mortician. So, I don't know, man. For me, the whole supernatural bullshit that they reintroduced or tried to reintroduce to everybody when they brought the Undertaker character back, once again, was hokey shit. Which is why I appreciated more of the human side of the Undertaker when they started introducing him as the American Badass with the biker gimmick. It just brought a little more sense of realism. You know, we had this big ass promo from Vince McMahon back in '97 where he said, "I'm sorry that we've insulted your intelligence. We feel like we've done a disservice to you guys.
We're gonna do it for the next 22 years."
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like he said, wrestling's going to change. The hokey shit is over. We'll try and make it a little more real now. And for a good period, a good decade, it worked. And that's what they did. All of a sudden, when the product turned PG, it lost a lot of interest. And that's kind of like what's happened. Like a good example, I hate that this is kind of turning into a wrestling talk more than 2K20, but it ties in, definitely. That's why we're looking at current ratings for like Fox Sports 1 this week, which was 800,000.
Yeah,
for Smackdown.
It did change channels too, but yes.
Yeah, Fox Sports 1, they had some competition, but it's still generally...
There's the MLB playoffs that caused the problem.
Yeah. 800,000 is still a poor rating for a wrestling program on a Friday night. And that's below AEW Dynamite from the night before, which pulled in 1.4. AEW Dynamite beat 2 WWE programs in 1 week, dude. That's huge. NXT and Smackdown. So, like, when I say this kind of shit, when I tie it back into 2K20, seeing this kind of hokey shit introduced into the game turns me off from wanting to play it at all. And also ties into the fact that we were promised the Fiend Bray Wyatt on day 1 if you pre-ordered, and we weren't delivered that. We had to wait.
And even then, you don't get him. You have to earn him in the game.
Yeah. Why? What the fuck? People pay good money because they want that exclusive character.
I paid $150 or whatever the fuck for this,
and you didn't get it.
Yeah.
What were your feelings?
I don't care.
Bullshit.
No, like I said, I was gonna play it. I was like, "What? That's kind of dumb." I'm bummed that I have to play through the tower to get it.
Yeah.
For me, because I was expecting that maybe I had to like play a little bit, play some, and then he just kind of popped. Like, that would have been amazing. You play him for a little bit, and then he just pops up in the quick match that you're playing, and then he's unlocked. Like, that would be a cool way to sort of give him that cool entrance. But having him buried in DLC isn't really a problem. Like, okay, that's fine. Because they need to have pre-order incentives. It's cool.
Yeah.
However, then to have him within DLC and then to earn that DLC is weird. But it's also this weird line because there is some hypocrisy in that, in the sense of like, oh, what do I have to, you know, people like, oh, we want to earn our stuff. We don't want to just pay for it. So it's a weird, so they went both. They went pay for it and earn it.
Yeah. I personally, I'm not sure, man. Like, I would have rather, like, every year they have that exclusive content, that sticker on the front of the cover that says, hey.
Last year it was Ronda and Ray.
Right. The year before was Kurt. Yes. The year before that was Goldberg. The year before that was Sting. The year before that, I can keep going. But every single one of them were day one. Doesn't matter if you had to earn them later on in the game. The people that paid that exclusive DLC content or pre-ordered the game wanted to wrestle as that character day one. For the people who didn't pay for it, they had that option of actually throwing them after into that 2K showcase, 2K originals to do. And if they wanted that free, or if they had to pay for that, they could have done that later. But as it stands right now, they promised day one content and didn't deliver that.
Correct.
So that's bad.
Yes.
That
I can't argue.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me a little bit more about your experience though, because you probably played it a lot more than what I have. So
surprisingly, no.
Oh, really? Okay.
No. The problem with this, I've played more Call of Duty, if anything, this week.
Yeah.
Call of Duty's won me over so far, so hard. But like, I guess I played the big stint in the stream. I played it a little bit here and there, and I did play the originals. Like, I've not had a proper sit down with it, because I think that even though it is bum, I do think I want to stream the career mode just for laughs.
Yeah.
Because one of the other things we do as well as part of Young and the Rest is we use these games to predict our pay-per-views. So we use them as our predictor for the matches. Yeah. Saying that though, we will continue to do that with 2K20 because I think that could be hysterical. You know, the win goes to Seth Rollins because Randy Orton fell through the mat and he was never able to be pinned. I'm like, well, can they relive that at Survivor Series? Let's hope.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm done with it, to be honest. But I have to jump back in because now, like, they've promised us a patch. I have to still write up a review, which I still haven't done.
I think it's best professionally to sort of see the patch through.
Yeah.
Give them the benefit of that doubt.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And you know, we might have to come back next week on Dash Culture live when we record on next Monday and talk about it a little bit more. Hopefully, if that patch does come through before then, but we will talk about it more as you know when we do come back as well. But from my overall experience so far of the game, man, I'm disheartened by what has been given to me in front of me as a wrestling fan a little bit. You know, 2K are fully aware of the problems, and they have put out an official statement as well regarding the matter. They have actually said, we're sorry about the product that's been put in front of you. We have our developers working tirelessly right now on a patch that will be in your hands within 2 weeks, and hopefully will rectify all the problems. And I can respect that. As a journo, I can turn around and say, okay, at least they know that there's a problem with the game and that they're doing their best to fix these problems. To present us, though, with a game that's half-baked at launch is very questionable. I believe it should have been held off. Or like they could have said, listen, we're sorry, but there's a couple of technical problems. We're going to hold off release for at least another month. Give us another month. And they could have just basically, even if the game went gold at that time, a patch would have been out on the launch day. They could have installed with the system. And would have easily rectified any issues or problems or any outcries that any people had. What's your thoughts anyway?
Well, my issue is very similar to yours in the idea of like it's all well and good to initiate an apology. Yeah. Like, oh man, we're so sorry. It was all well within their control. This was not an issue of them going, oh, we had no idea it was this bad on release. No, you knew. And you chose to release the game. So what they're trying to, the example that I did in a side chat that Dash and I had today, there's a situation of do it and then beg for forgiveness. Mm-hmm. So rather than go the other way, which would have been just, you know, apologize and then hold it back a little bit, they've gone the other way. And like the other way comes after money has already been handed over. Yeah. My issue is like it could have been delayed. It could have been totally handled better. It does have, you know, an incredibly extensive roster of superstars, which is awesome. However, a lot of them are poorly designed, poorly delivered. A lot of them have this weird, cold, dead look in their eyes, which is very similar to how we look playing at the game, I guess.
Yeah.
But, and then also to exclude some wrestlers, superstars, including the likes of UK champion Walter, and I think cruiserweight champion Leo Rush. So there's 2 champions that are already missing. That's a problem. Now I understand that this is a common occurrence. Mankind wasn't in last year's game due to contractual disagreements in terms of the dollars. Many NXT superstars aren't willing to agree because they're being paid less because they're on NXT rather. Those are side things, right? They've obviously made to some sort of deal because they have a lot of superstars on here that weren't previously, and that's positive. My issue with it is the mishandling of the message that they were trying to deliver here, trying to use the showcase, use the women's revolution, use the power that is Becky Lynch, having this sort of putting in this cool changes like the mixed match. These are genuine improvements, and that is really cool. Yeah. However, it's such a disservice to the entire women's locker room, every woman on WWE that gives it their all to then be shown like this, or even all the male superstars that put all that time and effort then to be showcased like this. It is really embarrassing for not just 2K, for Visual Concepts, and I do think that this may in fact be an uncomebackable situation.
For Visual Concept, yes. For 2K, for Visual Concepts, yes. For 2K, they can reinvent the wheel here, because now they can go back to the drawing board and say, let's come up with an original engine. Let's actually do this our way now, properly.
So that is the one benefit. 2K20 is a good number to kind of go, and then have, hey, we're gonna take a year off, and we're gonna work on this, and similar to Hello Games with No Man's Sky, they could come back and blow this out of the water.
That's true. Yeah,
they could either support 2K20 for longer than they need to, which is awesome, or they can go to the back to the board and start from scratch.
Yeah, 100%.
And what they've done here, whether they realize it or not, they have really opened up the door to competition here. Because the rumor mill is Ukes have left to go work with AEW. All Elite Wrestling. They're a competitor. So by them releasing this subpar game, that's already a win to AEW before the game even comes out. 2, if Ukes then take some time and release a killer fucking game, that's another win right there. By delivering a subpar release, it's made WWE look so crap compared to the competition.
Well, they
haven't even done anything yet.
No, and the one thing that Ukes need to be aware of now, if they're going off to make an AEW game, is that they can't take the WWE 2K engine with them, or the Ukes engine, I should say, with them, and develop an AEW game now after the experience that this has been they've had with WWE 2K20, because essentially that mirrors what kind of experience people are having right now with that engine in game. They need to basically sit down and go, we need to create something completely new.
But by having that freedom to not rely on that annual schedule, and to just constantly make check boxes, as they said, this gives them, even if they use the same engine, they can strip it back and kind of rejigger it.
That's right.
Because they have the luxury of time to do that.
Yeah, 100%. We have some questions that we want to go through as well. We have a couple questions. This one comes from Ashley Hobley over at the Explosion Network, who says, how long did you play? So we'll go step by step here. How long did you play for?
Probably 6-ish, 7 hours-ish.
Yeah, I've played for about 12, 13, maybe even 14 hours. So there you go. Do you think that's an appropriate amount of time to being given a fair review, though?
Yes and no. Yeah. I think yes, because these games like this are very simple, very straightforward. Yeah. Once you kind of have a taste of it here, when it comes to the actual wrestling mechanics, they are in the entire game. So if the wrestling mechanics are broken in originals, they're broken in career mode. They're broken here and there. The only difference is when you play career mode, is the story any good? Is that different? No. Is the showcase mode when you break down to its smaller parts? Then yes. However, having it not played as long, I have yet to see any of those truly game-breaking bugs. Like,
I have.
you know, someone whipping around a ring and stuff falling through the mat. Like, all I've seen, I've had refs stuck in a pin count for a longest time. I've had, being stuck on the ropes. I've had, just hits that don't land, just... some real weird shit. I haven't had the same superstar rock up in the corner while also being powerbombed. That hasn't happened.
I have.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, for those things haven't hit for me. So I think within more time I could see those. I'm probably more forgiving, if anything, because I haven't experienced them because of the amount of time I've played.
So I've experienced most of what you just said. I experienced the powerbomb on the stairs, which the stairs kind of go underneath the ring and then try to give birth through the ring, and the ring just goes bang, 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 bang. Like, it's just basically trying to burst through the ring mat, and that's kind of embarrassing. The one glitch I also had as well was one of the backstage brawls in the boiler room where Roman got stuck. I had a fight between Roman and Drew McIntyre, and Roman got stuck in the wall as the camera kind of like continuously panned out, like further and further and further and further. I'm like, what the hell's going on with this camera? And I got stuck in the wall. Another glitch I encountered backstage was in the corridor, which, by the way, looks fucking awful this year. The texturing on the corridor this year looks fucking horrid. Like, they shouldn't have touched it at all. But the corridor where I think it was Randy Orton, he got stuck in the wall again. And as that happened, I was able to walk around, and on the right-hand side of the corridor, Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton with the announce table are inside this wall. Yeah. These guys are inside the wall.
Speaking of, can we just also touch upon the idea that, I know it's not the game's fault, but like... Yeah. 2 weeks prior to release, both Raw and SmackDown completely changed their sets. So the game is already obsolete upon release.
Another one. This happens every year, dude. They outdate the game every year. And it's like 2K the game gets developed months beforehand. We realize that.
Yes.
But all the graphics and everything are completely outdated. And not only that, during the year that we have this game, there's never an update with DLC that includes new arenas.
Yeah, or even like, hey, here's the new PNGs of the new Raw logo.
Yeah,
like, here's the new SmackDown
you have to wait for
logo.
fans to do it, which is just butts. It really needs to, like, if they analyze this game or continue to analyze this game, they really need to consider DLC that people will pay for. People will pay $5 to play in the new Raw arena if you
new SmackDown arena. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I fucking love the new SmackDown arena. So it's just one of those things where if this happens and it's still annualized release and things change, they need to follow up with it. They need to be like, listen, this has kind of changed a little bit. We need you guys to kind of update whatever has happened on programming now to go forward, because a lot of people are getting upset that these annual games get put out and they're outdated immediately. And I'm not talking like just sets. I'm talking about character design as well. Year before, Becky Lynch turned into the Man. We didn't get the Man. We got steampunk Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not what we want now. We want to play as the Man. So if a full year cycle goes around, not only does that affect the game sales, because people will still buy to play the Man Becky Lynch, they'll get steampunk Becky Lynch and they'll have to wait that full year. Her character goes stale on TV and people don't give a fuck about that anymore.
Like,
and you're trying to
another
sell
example,
a game.
Daniel Bryan and the new Daniel Bryan.
Oh, yeah, another one. Now he's heel in the game, but he's now face on TV, and there's a good chance
in the last week.
Yep. And there's a good chance that he'll go back to chanting yes as well.
Yep.
There goes that entrance. The entrance that they took out of the game and put in the new entrance, and now they're going to... It's like, these things happen. I am impressed, 100% impressed, that they got the Fiend Bray Wyatt in this game, though.
Yeah.
As quick as they did. That's impressive.
I think that would have been a big focus early on. Like, hey, put him in here.
Definitely, 100%. This one comes by way of Buddy Watson of DashGamer.com. He says, when will the game be in a playable state? Is this the worst game of 2019? Actually, we'll answer that one first before we go on with the question. Do you think it's the worst game of 2019?
That I've played, probably.
Yeah.
In terms of its release setup.
It's hard to answer that one. Yeah.
Because, like, this is the thing. Just like a car crash, I'm still really enjoying it.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
And like that's the thing, you know, it's a weird line.
Well, it's because we enjoy the product itself. We enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.
So, you know, we kind of sit there and we go, oh, it's wrestling. Yeah,
I'm like,
it's hard
well,
to
it's the
hate.
same thing. I'm like, but Frankenstein Brawn's kind of a really cool idea.
I didn't like it.
You know, or it's just like, or, you know, when
Yeah.
you're playing it and it's like, I really do love Finn Balor's entrance.
I didn't mind his Demon Balor thing in the showcase. That was pretty cool.
I know, but I mean, like there are still moments where you have that little bit of a pop because you're a fan, and you know you get to make these cool little like custom matches and whatnot, and like it does hit us in a different way compared to the non-wrestling fan consumer. But then many people that would pick up the game wouldn't be fans. Like very few people would pick it up if they weren't wrestling fans.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I think that look. Here's my deal. It's hard to call it the worst game of 2019 because we haven't played every single game of 2019 to experience.
Yes.
Was it the worst game that I've experienced so far of 2019? Probably. I'd say that it's up there. I'd say that if anything, I'm disappointed by it more than anything.
See, and to add to Buddy's other question, when the game will be in a playable state? Right now.
It is. It's in a playable
Otherwise,
state.
it wouldn't release. Like, it wouldn't be able to go gold if it's unplayable. If you go to start a match and a blue screens, that is unplayable.
Actually, there has been a few instances where that has happened to me.
Has.
Yeah. It's still playable. The game is in a playable state. You can pick it up, put it in your PlayStation or Xbox or PC, whichever platform you prefer, and play it. It does have its problems though, and 2K have said that they're going to address it. So.
Now you can't argue those problems, but in terms of like, if you pick it up, will you be able to play it? In terms of the true definition of that sentence, yes.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. To follow up with his question, he also says, "What's your favorite wrestling game ever? Do you have any cool memories from any of those?" So, Betson, I'll start with you, then I'll go into my little spiel.
I remember playing, like, because I said I'm obviously being a new wrestling fan, I'm kind of a bit skewed that way because, like, obviously 19 I really enjoyed, and because I've enjoyed doing the streams for the last 12 months of the pay-per-views, it's kind of 2K19 sits in that place. However, I do distinctly remember playing a lot on PS1. I don't remember which one it was. What were the ones on PS1? It was just Smackdown?
Smackdown and Smackdown Know Your Role.
Okay, I think.
But there was also WCW Mayhem, WCW Backstage Assaults, WCW Nitro, WWF.
Was there WWF Attitude?
Yep, and Warzone.
Yeah, I played Attitude.
Awesome.
I remember playing Attitude a lot back in PS1 days. I enjoyed that at the time. I remember just using Kane and Stone Cold a lot for some reason.
Those games were developed by Acclaim.
Acclaim.
Same studio who did Mortal Kombat.
And Dave Mera Freestyle BMX.
Hey,
game was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I will say that those kind of games. Then I spent hours playing WWF Warzone back in the day. I remember to the point where my mum actually came in and said, "I'm taking the PlayStation away from you."
No, Mum, no.
Yeah. So that was a great memory. But my favorite of all time would have to be WWE SmackDown versus Raw 2006. I spent countless hours on that game. It was also the first. No, it was the second one. So I shouldn't say that, but it was the first game that I actually kind of just enjoyed the fuck out of, because I came home, sat down after school, turned it on, and played like the campaign over and over again because it had some great memories. It was unfortunately a year after Eddie Guerrero's it was during Eddie Guerrero's year of passing that year as well. So it was definitely, it was one of my favorites of all time. Here Comes the Pain second. A lot of people still love Here Comes the Pain.
Everyone has very fond memories of WCW versus NWO on 64.
Oh, World Tour and Revenge.
Yeah.
Yes. WWF No Mercy, dude, was the fucking bomb on 64 as well. That game was fun, and I still have like days where I crave it. Like I think to myself, man, I would love to boot up my 64 and play No Mercy right now. yeah. There are days where I absolutely crave playing that game. But yeah, there's definitely some great memories of playing some old school games. But buddy, to answer the first part of your question, yeah, the game is playable. It's hard to answer whether it's the worst game of 2019, but it's definitely up there right now in terms of what they've given us so far.
It would hit my most disappointed game of this.
That's what I would say. Yeah. Definitely. And that comes from us being wrestling fans and what we've been given. It's just, don't be deterred by what's happening. It's just wait, be patient. I think that once they hit that patch, I think it'll be that No Man's Sky effect that I think it'll come through. But yeah, it's going to take some time, but that's how it is. Ghost in the Machine.
This dude's rad. He's on Twitter. He's a good kid.
Yeah, man. Ghost in the Machine follows up on Buddy's question. He says, "So I tried to hashtag let him in. For some reason, he was not there on launch day, even though he was a pre-order exclusive bonus."
That's further adding to what we discussed before about Bray Wyatt not coming out on day one.
He also says, the image uploader has been broken and killed the whole creative wrestler community. The 2K19 one was brought down on release day as well. They can't even use that. Literally my favorite part of the game. No comment here. Just want to let you know. So it's just basically that there are still some technical hiccups within the creative. Oh my god, there are some creator wrestler hiccups right now. Especially, yeah. Go on. I can see it in your face, please.
Yeah, no, like because one of the great, as I said, the entire thing that we use 2K19 for at work is just to piss fart around. Yeah. Like, yeah, we literally go into the community creations. We find the dumbest wrestlers we can find. We're like, hey, who wants to see like the White Power Ranger take on Jesus? Like, yep, yeah. Boop. And then that's it. And then we have fun, and sometimes, because we do have also our own competitive belts. So sometimes we, put our belt on the line for those matches, and like that's good fun. So they get like a week to rub it in someone's face for a while, which is fun. Yeah, and then on top of that, belts aren't even in this game as well, so you can't make your own custom belt, which is a bummer. Because first thing I do is I make a stupidly ugly Pop C belt. It's fun. And the best part about it is making either yourself or your friends, or just like I don't have the skills to make cool like cartoon characters or people from other pop culture, but I can certainly make myself, and I really feel like can't currently.
Yeah. No, not in this one. No, definitely not. I have had some glitches and hitches right now. I have actually got before I jump into my creative wrestler, I thought there was one other thing that I want to bring up. Have you played the Elimination Chamber match yet?
No, why is that?
It's completely unplayable.
Oh.
Yeah, it's broken. Like, there are moments in the game where when you start off with only two wrestlers in the ring, the frame rate on it just completely breaks and you can't actually wrestle with each other until another wrestler comes into the ring. And then when they get in the ring, it's smooth.
Speaking of that, though, I am finding there is some weirdness with the frame rate. Sometimes it looks incredibly smooth, like it's kind of upended it, and then sometimes it'll just kind of go normal if a little bit slow. Like when, like I guess it might just be the what's the word I'm looking for? But like when you climb the ring post, the motion's all super weird. But then you might start the match and it's really fluid.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, this is actually running really well, and then it would kind of a little bit, but.
Yeah, it's very, very, very weird. But my creative wrestler experience personally, I tried out to edit a few superstars and their looks and everything. There is that one that everybody shares on the internet right now, Becky Lynch with the Eric Roll mask on top of her head, and her whole hair lifts and her face is off and all that stuff. I tried that out and it actually does happen. It's weird.
See, this is the thing. Like, I understand this is what QA is for, but what a very specific scenario that needs to happen. Like, these must be people that are intentionally trying to break the game.
Yeah.
Because who would have ever thought, like, hey, let's get Becky and put one of the Bludgeon Brothers masks on?
Yeah. But hold on. When I say that, as, we're journalists when we do this, it's our job. Well, it's our job to kind of go into that and try and kind of break the game in that. If it's too easy to break a game, I believe that there's a problem immediately right there. It's one of those things where I'm actually going to try and pull up a tweet as well from Renee Young, about a couple
about
of
her
comments that
face?
she made about that, and also another wrestler that's on the NXT roster.
Also, shout out to Dakota Kai for being willing to like poke fun at herself. Well done.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. But yeah, there've been that. There's been, you know how in the creative wrestler you could actually also in the profile you could change the menu stances, like they do this or they do this. Yeah, different poses basically. So there has that option in the game. It's clearly there when you go to the profile to have a look and change some of their poses in the in-game menu for when you change their threads. You try and set that and you apply that. It doesn't happen at all. You just get that blank stare and them facing off into the distance. And I don't understand. Every year we've had different poses. Yeah, pretty much what Betson's doing. Pretty much every year we've had wrestlers on the menu screen with different poses, or their trademark poses, like The Miz with his 2-gun finger point. Different things. But this year it's just that dead fucking those dead eyes and that blank stare.
Oh man, I can't understand that. Like, it's the dead eyes that are the thing that makes
every
it most jarring.
single wrestler on that menu though.
Yeah,
it's weird.
And what I love as well, side note, speaking of dead eyes, is like when you go into like say Becky Lynch or Sasha or Charlotte, and they're like, "There's Charlotte 14, different hair." Yeah. Like, this part doesn't change. It's just they swap out their hair and maybe the clothes.
Yeah.
Like, there's not, like, it's almost if there's even a slight, like, difference of, like, or even just restructure the face a little bit because, you know, people age, their face structure changes.
Yeah.
Like, those minor tweaks would have really sold that passage of time.
I'm in total disbelief though that like a simple item of the game, or a simple feature of the game I should say, is almost absent, even though the option is completely 100% there. It's and yeah, once again, I've just pulled up Renee Young's model from the game, and it looks like they basically lifted the old model, put it in the game, and then placed a mop on her head. And she even says the game did me dirty this year. That's coming from WWE themselves, man. This is WWE representation. And yeah, once again, the Dakota Kai tweet, which I think they've removed actually, because I can't find it anywhere. But where she does the crab walk.
So when the game wigs out and thinks the ground's higher than it is, like they get all, you know.
Yeah, it's. I'm pretty sure that they've been told to remove it because I cannot find it on WWE. Renee Young's Twitter account because it used to be there.
Is it on Dakota Kai? Is it hers?
I'm not sure if it's on. Yeah, this is my mic. My mic was about to attack me. I couldn't find it on even Dakota Kai's. Yeah, I think they've actually told her to remove it. It's not on YouTube either.
Ouch.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But it's there's definitely, I don't know, man. There's these little features in the game that they've added but don't follow up on, and then. Even menu selection of some of the wrestlers. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. There's like the Evolution theme plays as Jeff Hardy's theme. And like they're getting some things wrong, and man, what the fuck? Like the Randy Orton entrance.
Sorry, one thing I have had go wrong: lighting. Andrade just worked out and he's pitch black for some reason. It's almost like the lighting is reversed. Like with the spotlights are delivering, just the opposite of what they should be doing.
The shading's awful.
Yeah, the
shading they did wrong.
All patchable stuff. That stuff is patchable. You can't argue that.
So let's talk about that and then wrap this up as well. There is going to be a patch in 2 weeks. Do you think that with this patch we're going to see the game come through clean?
No, I do think there are some system level problems here. Yeah. However, I do think obviously they can't replace every asset. That's not possible. No. I do think we'll maybe lose some of the glitching through the mat. We'll lose some like the hat stuff and just like any sort of basic cosmetic-y things might just be a bug problem somewhere. But there will be some fundamentals that can't be altered.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think it's a little late into the
because they really have to be looking ahead for next year at this point.
Exactly. They need to be now starting from scratch.
Yeah, like, they don't have time to really go hard on this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. 100% agree with you. Betson, this has been fun to sit down and talk to you about WWE 2K20.
That's correct.
Thanks to, once again, 2K for allowing us to sit down and review the title. Now, Betson, on the Young and the Wrestlers, you like to give a review scale. Would you like to explain what it is?
Yes, that's right. So on the Young, as Dash said, on the Young and the Wrestlers, we review everything out of 2 thumbs up, or as we say, 2 Kurt Angles, because Kurt Angle, he looks like a thumb. So we do have some variants. Of course, there is the Kurt Angle. If you want to go a half point, you go the bar. So it's a 4-point rating.
Yep. So what do you give it?
It's a solid bar from me.
Okay, cool.
I say that because the game is playable, and there is things that about it that are good. It's certainly not horrifying, but there are some fundamental things broken with the game, and even though I may enjoy it in some ways, looking at it purely like objectively, there are a lot of problems. Now, if some of these problems get rectified within this patch, I'll bump it up to a 1 Kurt. But as it stands right now,
yeah,
I can enjoy playing it in some ways because I'm apparently like torturing myself. Yeah. But like the career mode, it's just tough to play because everything looks like anus.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So it's a bar for me.
Yeah, I'm giving it the same. It's a bar for me as well. Now, let me explain. I have to write up a full review for this game. Usually I do that within a week, but I'm going to give it a little bit more time to cook in the kitchen. Give it a little more time in the oven. Maybe maybe give it time enough to actually have that patch out. It's just one of those things where I kind of refuse to review a game that's not complete. And for the fact that they just launched the 2K Originals today, as we're recording this podcast, the 2K Originals came out today. So it's like I need to kind of sit down and think about what
maybe
I've
run
just
through it
experienced.
again or something. Yeah.
Exactly. I just can't write up a review right now and give my full impression on it. So this is just a temporary review of the title right now. It's pretty much a bar for a score, but yeah, it's one of those things where I want to make it clear. I hate giving negative reviews of any game.
I hate it. I hate it so much. See, that's the luck. See, this is the thing. Like the luxury of what we do as this weird sort of mix between game journalism and influencer and content creators. We have the luxury of we can kind of pick and choose what we play, and for that reason, I'm in a nice position where I tend to pick games that I enjoy. So it's a bummer when I pick a game of interest and I have to kind of talk. Like I don't seek out bad games on purpose.
Neither do I. No. But it's just one of those cases where we've been struck with a high-profile title that's just landed like this, and it would be out of my journalistic integrity to give it a good score at all. It would be something that I couldn't look anybody in the eye after and go, oh, that was a great game. Oh, yeah. You just can't. You can't sit there and recommend something like this as broken as it's been. So, fingers crossed, in a couple of weeks, we will see, or at least in a week, we'll see a patch that will fix up most of the problems. I will come back with a proper review. Hopefully by next Monday, maybe even we might even land that patch, and myself and Betson can talk more about it on Dash Culture with Paul and Buddy as well, who will be present.
Paul will nap, Buddy make it.
Exactly. Well, no, I think Paul will talk about it. Like Paul has been as like Paul doesn't watch wrestling at all. He doesn't give a shit about it, but he is definitely had a vested interest in the development cycle of this title and also its presentation.
And I think we're also like infecting him ever so slightly with the wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah, definitely. Well, he said that he wants to come and watch an event with you.
Yeah, because he's going to come to a local indie show with me, so that'll be awesome.
Oh, very cool.
Once you experience it, well, make sure you come to that one, Dash. It'll be awesome.
I probably will be, yeah. Sorry. Guys, if you didn't know, this has been the Dash Culture WWE 2K20 ReviewCast. If you like what you heard today, make sure that you follow Mr. Ryan Betson on Twitter at HaggartMC and PopCulturist at PopCulturist. You can follow me on Twitter at Dash Gamers. Don't forget to follow the show on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. You can give us those cheeky 5-star ratings. Follow the Young and the Wrestlers over on iTunes as well, and give them those cheeky 5-star ratings as well. We'd surely appreciate that. We'll be back next Monday night live on Twitch with episode 45, I believe it is. Episode 45 of Dash Culture, where we'll probably be more than likely talking about Death Stranding, if anything, so that'll be really cool. But
days before my big 30, by the way.
Oh my God! Here we go. Hey, welcome to being over the hill.
Yeah.
But guys, until we see you on Monday, this is Dash Culture out. You don't want to hashtag it at all.
Hashtag fix WWE. Hashtag the Young and the Wrestlers. Hashtag go watch our Kofi interview.
Oh my God.
That's a very long hashtag, but
that's a very long hashtag.
Please go to wellplayed.com.au. Please check out the interview. It was awesome. Yep. Big thank you to Zach. Big thank you to the guys at 2K and PPR to let them make that happen. That gets two Kurt Angles.
DashGamer.com